Hey yo, what's buck? You watching this video for one of two reasons. You either really trying to find out how to get better at battling and look for any advice you can, or you here to knowledge check me and see what I know. Either way, I'm here for it all. Let's get it. What's good, y'all? I'm ANTiX the Joker. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Got more music coming, try not to hype challenges on the way, and of course, knowledge and advice from my own experiences. Aside from having a natural charisma when talking to the camera, one of the ways that I've developed haters is by winning. I'm gonna tell you one of the formulas that I live by is 3 P's. Practice, poise, pressure. With this formula, it's not going to go into detail of what I'm actually physically doing inside the battle moment to moment, even though there is a formula for that. This is going to be more general behind the scenes of what it takes to get there. So before we get into that, I also want to remind you that it's October Awareness Month. Women of all mature ages, make sure you get checked. It's not a game. Don't play with this. Get checked. Stop thinking about it and go do it. Getting on to my 3 points. First things first is practice. If you're one of those people who only freestyle, who only love the freedom of expression and that can take me everywhere and your ego is through the roof, leave. Don't stop watching. This ain't for you. Maybe I could entertain you on the next video. I've never known a person in history who has been successful without practice. But if you're somebody who really trying to advance in their craft, advance their mind frame, get sharper in what you do, then you need to practice. In the midst of preparation, I feel like you have training, labbing, and then practicing all that. So I put that all in one bubble of practice. So let's start by saying Krump is language, right? We can all agree on that. Cool, didn't really have a choice because it is. So with Krump being its own language, you have to know that first. You have to know words. It's just like in school when you learn a language, you learn the words, the spelling, what each word means, how to formulate a sentence. You learn these different words to express your thoughts. Then you get into the sentences, and from the sentences you go to paragraphs. Paragraphs turn to essays and what books. At that point. So that's how you have to treat this dance. You have to understand and go do research, go learn from the sources, go learn from the elites, the OGs, the veterans, learn from valid sources. Understand the Krump terminology, understand the language that you're in. That's beginner stuff on practice. The advanced stuff on practice, you gotta go out and beat other people. Go out and advance how to beat yourself. If you have no competition around you, you gotta beat yourself. You know what you're gonna be facing at that point? Your ego. And that's going to take a lot of breaking down to do. So you have to practice. You have to chip away at all of the stuff that's hindering your growth. Sometimes I'll use a session as practice. Sometimes practice don't mean just being in the living room. You can have sparring battles. If you get something down packed like combos, moves, and materials, as sharp as you may be in these areas, you need to be just as sharp in these other areas such as get off, traveling, character. Practice will build humility, not ego. Practice builds confidence, not cockiness. And all this confidence and humility comes from brutal training, brutal experiences that you've learned from. Hostile situations, things that you were once uncomfortable and unfamiliar with. When you start stepping into career fields and things like martial arts, the lifestyle and the career engagement itself is called a practice. It's a field in which you're constantly discovering new things and you're getting better at. You're working, developing whatever your craft is. Same with martial arts. It is a discipline. There is no room for advancement when it is shielded by ego. So you have to practice. My second P for you is poise. You can never let them see you sweat. Never let your opponent get to you. I'm gonna give you an example. There are some dancers out there who are great dancers, with them always getting all this positive feedback all the time. All you hear is you're great, you dope, you tight, you one of the best. If that's all you're hearing, and the one time you run into somebody who done been through the turmoil with all this practice and experience under them, and they start dishing that out at you, and you feel all that for the first time, your poise is gonna break. You're gonna spaz, you're gonna mentally not even be there no more. You're gonna start speaking in tongues, you're not even gonna make sense. You're gonna start laughing lashing out and getting to the point where you're not even dancing no more. You're just out there looking dumb and unprepared. You're looking real green, unseasoned, and that's dangerous. Some of the feedback that I've received throughout my entire career has always been about my poise, my maturity in battling. It's very hard to break me. I've been in beef situations. I've been in hostile situations, not only just around home, but in other areas. And I have enough range to be able to keep my poise in different situations. I'm able to think clearer when I'm not so riled up with emotion. I'm gonna give you an example of the importance of poise from somebody who's losing perspective and somebody who's winning. You do need to have a certain poise when you're winning. Now, from somebody who's losing, a lack of poise, you'll see that person start wearing their heart on their sleeve. They're overly trying to distract the opponent from doing good. They're doing all this pushing and shoving, might even interrupt their round unnecessarily. All that pressure from the crowd, overhyping the opponent, that stuff start to get to you. You start trying to convince people that your opponent whack and it don't make sense, and start talking all this, you know what I'm saying? Your logic is out the window. Your concentration is thrown off. You don't have a lot of focus right now. You're not focusing on the right things. So you're already losing here. Say you're in an argument, like I said, Krump is language, right? So if you got two elites going head to head, the idea is to have an elite debate, to constantly make points, to throw at each other and not lose your poise. A good debater, a good battler can respond to any heat thrown at him with the heat that he was practicing on. A good debater always has another blow. Now, when you start losing an argument, it's good and further, it's not looking good for you, that person pushing you down with points and points and points. Guess what you're gonna start doing? Reaching. And you're not even saying nothing no more. You just want to stop that person from making these excellent points. So you know, you don't even have a response. You just reacting. You like, shut up. You ever been in an argument like that and all you just want the person to do is to be quiet? So you just, he ain't even making sense no more. What did you say? That's childish. It's immature. You losing your poise. And that's what a lot of people tend to do in these battles. They just start rambling, spitting gibberish, not even making sense. That's why it's important to keep your poise. Having great poise comes from great practice. You see how that goes back? Now, from a winning perspective, whether you winning by accident or on purpose, you might be winning by accident, you hit that kill off, boom, and now you don't know what to do with it. This is a moment you're not used to, so the crowd going crazy, you getting distracted, and so after you hit something so dope, you lose your poise because all that energy, all that adrenaline is right here on surface. After you do something so great, you go from making a great point to spitting gibberish. Overall, you lose the value in your whole argument, your whole debate, your whole round. And it's like, what was the point in building up all this great stuff just to get excited at the end and you knock over your own building blocks, you destroy everything that you've been building? It was a complete waste. You at that point, you became your worst enemy because of lack of poise. You got to learn how to win right too. Having poise is more on the defense side. That comes on that side of the preparation. You have what it takes to defend yourself physically and inside your soul and your mind. That's where the defensive poise comes into play. Now you have pressure. You have to be able to apply pressure to your opponent. And if you apply pressure correctly to your opponent, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna break their poise and make them forget what they practice. It all comes full circle. In the preparation process, you're preparing for any situation. And I don't even mean situation as far as hostile situations or beefy or dancing in different environments. I mean literally different situations that you're not used to. If you fall in at a certain angle, you've practiced this enough to where it's not unfamiliar. You got plenty of things you can do off balance that'll get you right back in balance. You got plenty of things that you can do. If you drop a hat unexpectedly, you're prepared for that. And if you are in a certain situation, you know what you can do to be able to tap in and focus on the things that you need to focus on that'll bring the best out of you. That pressure is going to come from great execution, great timing, and dropping them killers that's going to land right on time that'll eventually turn into a kill off. And learning how to capitalize on the moments that you build up. All that on top of actual battle tactics is gonna get in your opponent's head, and it's gonna break their poise and make them forget what they practice. And you can even flip the script with pressure. If your opponent trying to put pressure on you, but they see that you have poise, that can throw them off because they might feed off of a certain energy that they can't get from you because your poise is right. but you the whole time are having control of your emotions. Everything that you do, it strikes harder, it means more. But when you dish out your emotions correctly, that energy will find its way back to you. So you can keep going and keep applying pressure. You see how all this goes full circle? But it all starts with practice. If you're the top dog where you at and you can look around and see no competition, guess who that competition is? You. You have to defeat your own ego, keep practicing, keep leveling up. You can keep that poise when you're in all types of different situations and be able to apply pressure right back at your opponent. Now, this is a mindset. These are tips that you can use for any situation in life, whether you battling any style or doing anything career-wise. Have plenty of practice. Then keep your poise. Expect to lose, expect to fail, and use that as a learning opportunity. If you lose, you lose. If you take a L is a L. Take that. I'm not one of the people who say, I don't lose, I learn. Nah, bro, like you lost, bro. Take that L, then learn from it. Don't change the L. Take the L, go back home, learn from it. I've had to take some L's, but I got a lot more dubs. So that's how I sum it up. Those are 3 P's that I use as a formula to ultimately win. So go out there and use those 3 P's. If you somebody who lose a lot and you found this video helpful, watch it over and over. Take notes. Use it as an affirmation. Use it as something you use to prepare yourself for battle. If you somebody who win and you watching this video to fact check me, I suggest you come get these facts in person. This formula is only seen and proven through experience. So let me show you. If you watching this to hate, do your job. Everyone else, I appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure you subscribe. And if you want me to go in details in certain areas, leave a comment. However I can do to help you with advice. Now I'm about to go practice.